Hello everyone, today I want to share my Klee build and team compositions. As always, I start with the build, then go over teams and show some Abyss gameplay at the end.
Game's up. Console. Everybody stand back. Let's clouds high. The birds call. The wind moves. Blazing delight.
Klee, I wish she was better, she was my first limited 5-star, but who knows, maybe Dendro elemental reactions will open a new niche for her to shine in. Anyway, the build is pretty standard: main DPS, attack percentage, crit rate, crit damage, in her case obviously pyro damage bonus. You don't need too much energy recharge, her elemental burst skill is very cheap, and you want to have a little bit of elemental mastery. She wants to use elemental reactions, but that's my biggest criticism with her. She is pretty inconsistent in that regard. As for talents, this character has very strong charged attacks, so you definitely want to prioritize leveling the normal attacks, then the elemental burst skill. It deals a lot of damage, and the lowest priority, but still worth it, is the elemental skill. As for Constellations, she has some good ones. Constellation 2 decreases defense, which is kind of unique, so Klee having access to this is definitely good. Constellation 4 is a massive instance of pyro damage when you switch off Klee while her elemental burst skill is active. If you manage to vaporize or melt this, it will be a gigantic hit for sure. And Constellation 6 is kind of worth mentioning because it is exceptionally bad in my opinion. A 10% pyro damage bonus to your whole team, and she generates up to 9 energy for the other 3 characters in your team while her elemental burst skill is active. Not really impressive in my opinion. As for weapon options, it's the usual selection of main DPS catalysts. Anything with crit rate or crit damage is great, for example the Widsith. If you don't have it, something with attack percentage can work as well, for example the Dodoko Tails or an Eye of Perception. And of course, if you have a 5-star weapon, it will be great as well. As for artifacts, we already covered substats earlier. As for main stats, it's the usual attack percentage, pyro damage bonus, and crit rate or crit damage, whichever one balances your stats better. As for the sets, I think you can run the 4-piece Wanderer's Troop set to increase her charged attacks and elemental mastery, but the slightly better option in my opinion is the Crimson Witch of Flames set. This one actually also includes the Dendro reactions already. As you see here, it increases burning damage as well. As for team compositions, of course most people prefer to play Bennett, so I just stick to him for simplicity's sake. As for Klee, she is a Pyro main DPS, so having that Pyro resonance activated already is pretty nice as well, and this means we are only looking for supports and sub DPS characters in the remaining 2 slots. Klee's team compositions almost exclusively deal elemental damage, so having a character who lowers elemental resistances is great, for example Venti, Sucrose or Kazuha with the Viridescent set, or alternatively of course Zhongli as well, and he also provides that big shield, and Klee can be kind of squishy, so I guess that makes you feel kind of safe. And in the last slot, we are looking for a sub-DPS character to enable elemental reactions. To give you some examples, something like Rosaria to enable Melt, something like Beidou Official to enable Overload, and something like Jingshou or Yelan to enable Vaporize. And the last thing I want to mention is we already know about Dendro elemental reactions and Dendro characters who were teased. So we know Dendro characters will have synergy with Hydro characters and no synergy with Anemo characters. So you would replace Kazuha with a character like Kolei, for example. And these 2 characters, Yelan and Kolei, would trigger the Bloom reaction. And then the Bloom can be exploded with Klee for AoE burning damage. And now for the showcase. Honestly, Klee is a little harder to use, or maybe not harder, but it takes some time to get used to her, because a lot of people feel her normal attacks are very clunky, especially the third one is very slow. So what you want to do is use jump cancels after 2 normal attacks. So you do 1, 2, jump, 1, 2, jump, or you can even do it after 1 jump, 1 jump, and moving around like this is actually a lot better for her. It feels better, and she's actually quite mobile like this, to be quite honest. And I don't usually talk about animation cancels, I don't think most people care, but we started, so we might as well finish. There is this machine gun technique that looks a little bit like this, and you basically always press W after each normal attack to reset the chain and only do the first normal attack. You can have a feeling for it or look for different visual cues, but honestly, I don't think it's super useful. Just for completionist's sake, I guess I mentioned it here. So anyway, let's just get going already. You just press all your skills on your team. Of course, Bennett if you have him. I didn't bother to charge his elemental burst skill right now. And same with Klee, just press your skills on cooldown. And then just do 1, 2, jump. Do normal, charge attacks whenever ready. And ready means you have this small flower indicator right next to Klee, and whenever you have that, your next charge attack will be stamina free. So kind of pay attention to that, and whenever you have it, do a charged attack. And for now, I'm gonna leave you with some Abyss gameplay and come back at the end.
As one with wind and cloud. Wings of darkness. Teamwork is dreamwork. Fallen leaves, adorn my night. Into the wind. One with wind and cloud. One with nature.
Alright, we made it to the end. I didn't really go into the internal anti-synergy and Klee skill kit because honestly I don't think they will ever revisit this character or any character who needs some work. But if you're just curious about my opinion, I might do a separate video on my take on what's wrong and how to fix her, just for amusement's sake I guess. But anyway, that's it. I hope this gave you some inspiration for your own bits. Stay tuned for more videos. Until then, have fun and bye bye.